And good morning, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. How are we feeling this morning? I hope you enjoying your morning. It's quite nice and lovely and sunny outside. It was amazing to cycling to here in the studio. I really enjoyed it. To be honest, as always, I'm a pretty. I didn't like that. Like again, too much cars going on the street. I'm super sure I was faster most of you with my bicycle than you with the car. I don't know why people are really enjoying to sitting in the car and releasing toxic gases and being in the traffic jam already make their morning tensions. I'm super chill. Also, I did my exercise and pretty vibing as always. I know I couldn't make it last week. I'm sorry about that, but I'm here. And I brought for you are really interesting topics. Well, I think you're gonna enjoy it, and maybe you're gonna learn something new. And yeah, let's crack on then. Why not? So basically, the first topic what I was thinking to bring for you is basically let's talk about evolution. So that's why I thought that I'm gonna bring this topic up because I saw a really nice documentary film, and basically they compare the religion way and also the scientific way that like who got right, is the evolution real or we for real, we are the kids from Adam and Eve, and then before wasn't nothing, that like somebody came from the ape or the monkeys or the mammals or maybe even the fishes, or let's go back to like even way back, and that's actually the bacterials. But I was thinking that like I'm gonna talk about in a scientific way. I'm gonna talk through that like what is actually evolution, where it's come from, what are they doing, and stuff like that. But also definitely I'm gonna go into this religion part because also I feel that like what is writing in the saint books that basically it's more like metaphors, because we need to think about that those people didn't know these definitions what we know right now, but they needed to write around, they talk around, and therefore they use definitely, I mean, like most of it is metaphoric way, but to be honest most of the things is like so like similar to the scientific knowledge, just in a different way. I always think that like the religion knowledge and also the scientific knowledge is need to come together, because the religion is more likely spiritual. So as most of you know fully that we are spiritual species, but I believe all the animals as well, but you can argue with me. But I fear that they also got their spirits, they also got their consciousness, they also got their knowledge that why they come on this earth and what are their roles. Probably they even know better than us, because they not destroying really the planets. They actually, as we talk in my previous radio show, that they all living in cooperation, symbiosis. Even if there is that or fight or anything, that's part of the let's say the evolution and also the surviving. But they not going through the threshold what we are doing right now, that actually that start to destroy the environment or the biodiversity. They always keeping it in control. If they see there is no food enough in that part, they go around and looking for something else, but they're gonna dump the another food source just to give to the another animal that food source, and yeah, as I say, live in symbiosis. And yeah, I think it's spiritually we need to know also uh, like how where what is our role and why we are conscious in this way as we are, because definitely we are more conscious than other animals. But this I feel people they didn't realize it and don't know the real power, because no one educated actually for us, and this is really sad and bad in because if we would use our brain like in a higher level, definitely we would realize that like what would be our role. Definitely then we straight away would stop everything what gives us tensions or bad for us, and we would start to think about how to build in a better future. But right now it's not the case. And the scientific way, basically, it's, yeah, exactly. It shows there are DNA. DNA is like literally a code. Like every animal's got literally the old DNA what we got our body. Just there are different switched on and different parts switched off, and therefore become different animals and different species all around the world. But this doesn't mean that like it's just random. I believe it should have something, because if you check that basically science is all about math, and with math you actually can build, and there needed to be somebody who made this math to build up the things. And so yeah, so after this little summarizing that why I think these two things, the religion and science, good hand by hand, after, so let's talk about the scientific evolution. So basically, what is evolution, you thinking, or maybe you already know, but let's tell you that basically the evolution is the process by which species of living organisms change over time through a series of gradual modification in their genetic makeup. So basically, as I said, then basically every species got the same DNA sequence, but there are some parts switch on and some parts switch off. That is like literally a really interesting, let's say, scientific play. Okay, it's not to animal welfare, let's say, and also like that is why we could say that like we are playing God, or we shouldn't. That basically, if you check a chicken egg, and that is inside the embryo, and basically there you can play with its DNA, because actually the chickens or all the birds contains as well the dinosaur DNA, of course. And basically in chicken embryos they could switch on some DNA, for example, that like the chicken can grow teeth, so actually it started to grow on in the beak some teeth, or also they can switch on that part that like chicken has some tail, long tail. So yeah, it's pretty interesting that actually it's all about that like what DNA parts switch on and therefore become that species. And yeah, literally that's why, as you see, so basically in between the chimpanzees and the humans there is 99.2% similarity in the DNA. So basically that 0.8% you can see how big changes in the two species. But I'm gonna go into a bit more later on, because I brought a different topic about apes and humans. But yeah, so basically, the evolution is driven by natural selection, genetic variation, mutation, and other mechanisms, such as like there is, let's say, there was the uh, plates moving around, and after started to become what's that is a heel all around, and basically they can't move in their usual environment, so therefore they needed to change the DNA to survive, or then basically they're gonna extinct. So, and also mutations, so basically they say usually they are random mutation, and after by the natural selection it's gonna be chosen that species which their mutations were successful, like randomly. But to be honest, I would argue with that as well, because I think that they are not just a random mutation, but also you can control that mutation. Especially, I believe humans could do really well if we could use our brain in that high level, because actually if you check, our brain and our guts are the controller of our body. And basically with your brain, if you image something, it can make a difference that is it real or just imagination. So if you think true, then basically if you, okay, I'm not gonna say that you're gonna think that you want to tell, and then basically it's gonna grow straight away, but I would say after 10, 15 generation later, if like you go through and you're telling always continuously inside you that like, yeah, I want to tell, you imagine it, and then like you're gonna tell your kids, and then they're gonna tell their kids and their kids, and over and over. I mean, it's a long process, and like it's really hard to, let's say, prove it, but you know, you never say never that anything can happen, to be honest, in this world, in this universe, as you can see right now as well. Everybody would think that like in this 21st century with the technology, we would be like so like further with our knowledge and our consciousness, but actually still nothing changed. uh, Again, they're getting more tensions all around, wars and all these things, which shouldn't be like these days, to be honest. Because we should learn about the history. This is where we're learning history for that, like, oh my god, our ancestors how big were because they killed so many animals. Like, I wouldn't be so proud of that, to be honest. It's just more like actually a teaching that what happened in the past, it wasn't so good, it made tensions, it made poor countries, inflation and stuff like that, rather than to just uh, just we just how you say, not making tensions, but just like know that we people should take care of our earth. We have the knowledge that like we build so bigger things than right now on earth, and we should concentrate on that. We should unite together and concentrate on how we can grow mentally, physically, personally, and as the whole humanity. But yeah, okay, let's continue. That basically Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace are often credited with independently actually developing the theory of evolution by natural selection in the 19th century. So basically, Charles Darwin went, like, started to go to America and then found the Galapagos Island, and basically there found different finches, and it realized that actually that finches was it differ. And after more observation, realized that actually these finches, even if maybe their color is like pretty similar, their big differences, even if just only 1 millimeter, it can show that actually eating and has a different part in the nature. And Russell Wallace actually went around Australia and Indonesia island and realized that in Australia and Indonesia the animals totally different, looks totally different, and realized that they like actually that's why, because Australia and Indonesia actually it like went apart, and therefore the animals go through different natural selections, and therefore happened that like there are so various animals available in Australia and Indonesia, because as you realize there are pretty similar animals you can find all around the world, such as ostrich, emu, or the kazoo. But if you're realizing that like all these birds, even if it's like pretty similar, their physicality and how they look like, they are like totally living in a different part of the earth, such as the monkeys as well, or the apes actually in Africa. But yeah, monkeys you can find all around, literally in the equator. And yeah, so basically Russell Wallace realized that actually there are natural selections happening in different environment, but also they still keep, let's say, the similarity as well in a different way. Okay, basically this evolution, the theory of evolution suggests that organisms with traits that provide a competitive advantage are more likely to survive and reproduce, and therefore they can passing those advantageous traits to their offspring, and therefore can continue this surviving. Uh, there are different mechanisms of the evolution. The first, what I said, is natural selection. So basically the process in which organisms with advantageous traits for their environment have a higher chance of survival and reproduction. There are also genetic variation, which means difference in genetic makeup of individuals within a population, which are the raw material for evolution. So that is the mutation basically. So there are, like, let's say there is a population from the same species, but actually some species like started to eat a different food or started to use a different environment, and therefore its DNA and then genetic makeup start to differ, and therefore becoming actually a new animal, and that basically can be an evolutionary advantage, and therefore can be, let's say, I never say they are in higher level, because we as well humans, we are in the same level all the animals, because they as well evolve to breathe the same oxygen what we do, or the air what is available in here, such as the plants, let's say, or the animals in the water. But actually in the water as they take concentrate oxygen to survive, and also they evolve to live all around those environments what is available on the earth. They also found out how to survive in these days, such as the humans. So all the animal is actually equal in the level with living right now, because found a way how to survive and have to reproduce and have to live in this environment. But right now it's really hard for them as well, and for us right now, even if we living in houses using cars and stuff like that, what we think is really modern and can save us from these natural disasters, it's we are still surviving. Let's say we are those species with actually like in a bigger species, or that like still can like keep up. But if we continue like this way, soon we're gonna realize that our species as well start to extinct, because of big heat waves and sudden colds, like suddenly changing the weather, floodings, tornadoes, all this stuff. Like they are way, way stronger than any human builded technology. It's just like we need to pledge to the nature. We shouldn't fight against it. It shows our sign, shows their sign that like, look, people, you're doing something wrong, just stop it. Also, we have a lot of good inventions already which is sustainable, but we are still not using because of money. But that's another topic. I could talk about, like, to be honest, these 2 hours for me sometimes is really not enough, because like I could tell you so many things, guys, but actually I learn and read from the books, and I can see through observation, because I walking the streets and my environment with open eyes. I'm not making myself busy with nonsense thoughts, such as like, oh my god, I'm gonna late in the work, or oh my god, uh, how much money I'm gonna make, I want to be a millionaire and stuff like that, or I want to buy myself some nice products and stuff like that. No, no. Basically, the wealthiness is coming from that you are healthy and you are in love, that basically with everyone, that all around you is, all your environment is positive, and yeah, and you need to help for everyone without expecting to get back anything, because actually another person, if you following, even if like you see, even if you are following the scientific theory of the evolution, or the religion theory, that basically we are all brothers and sisters, so, and we are all the same, so we are part of each other, we are like a little puzzles, but all together, like we are in one, we are one consciousness basically. And this is what we need to understand. And then we're gonna say that actually when you help to someone else, when you love someone else, when you smile to someone else, you actually do all these things to yourself, because when you watch another human beings, actually you're seeing yourself. Okay, so then are some gene flows. This is another mechanism of the evolution, and basically the exchange of genes between population can lead to new traits spreading, and this is as well again because of some random mutation. And also the last mechanism is the genetic drift, which is changes in gene frequency in a population due to random events, more prevalent in small population. All right, after this little introduction about the evolution, I'm gonna take a little break. We're gonna go for a little break. I'm gonna play for you two musics, and then I'm gonna continue after, and I'm gonna tell you more things about the evolution. And let's say, I mean, now it's nice and sunny day, and it's actually good weather outside. So let's go back a bit into summer, and therefore I'm gonna play for you from Calvin Harris the Summer first, and after let's play for you from Florida with David Guetta, The Club Can't Handle Me. So after these two musics, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna continue the evolution topic. Until then, enjoy the music, enjoy your Monday morning, and your coffee, your tea, even, or if you are going to the work, don't stress, just be calm. You're gonna get there, you're gonna work, you get this. And who's in the bed and still chilling, just, yeah, you're doing great. You need sometimes rest, so go for it. So, and actually listening the Mindatory show with me, Shandor. So I'm gonna come back after these two musics. Until then, enjoy your day and morning. And now I'm back. Hopefully you enjoyed these lovely musics and boost up your mood and get ready for your Monday and your week ahead. And now, right now, let's continue that, like, about the evolution, that what is it, where it come from, why it's important, and why is big breakthrough and stuff like that. So basically the evolution is like pretty proven in a lot of way. For example, fossil records, the fossil records provides very much evidence of past life forms and the transition forms that link different species. Right now as well, there is more and more new species, human homo species start to be discovered, and that they start to put together the links in between the homo species, that where it's come from and how it's come from. They are still looking for that, like, where is that species which is like actually divided us between, I mean, from the apes and become the human species. But there are getting more and more evidence, and there are many evidence already came along, which is actually shows the links that, like, how the species who live in the water, how they became a terrestrial species. And so basically you can't argue with that. There are fossil records you can see with your own eyes if you go any natural museums, and you can see the differences, you can see many similarities it's in there. And yeah, therefore it's like pretty strong, this theory of evolution with these fossil records evidences. And also actually fossils helps to trace the history of the life on earth and demonstrate how species have changed over time. Because basically, as we know, that the basically the earth is built up by layers, and it's going like layer by layer, and are we going downer and downer, that basically it means that that's where is basically the earth started and come from. And from there you can trace that, like, what time was it, and if you find any species, then basically you can put into that time. And there is another way which is like pretty good and support the evolutionary theory, is the biogeography. And basically it explains why similar species often appear in geographically close but distinct regions. So basically, for example, what I told you, like in a previous radio show, that actually if you check a shark or you check dolphins, like they are pretty similar. They got like really similar traits, and also the physiology as well, it looks like. But they actually, one is a fish and another one is a mammal, but they, because they live in the same environment, they also got a similar appearance as well. And actually it shows that basically different species as well can be at the same environment, and we really need to be careful and make various studies and observation to make a decision that, like, is this species connected with each other or not. And that is the homology and vestigial structures. And basically the homologous structures are similar body parts in different species that have a common evolutionary origin. And the vestigial structures are remnants of once functional features in ancestral species which no longer serve a significant purpose. And there is a pretty good example, the human appendix. So basically that we still have in our body, but we not really need anymore, but our ancestors really need it, and it's still there, but it's getting smaller and smaller. And if nothing happen, and this human species can evolve over millions of time, probably gonna disappear, or probably gonna grow back. But right now, because what we eating, our food is pretty, like, let's say, soft, and you don't need to digest too much. So I feel that, like, it's gonna disappear rather to grow back. And also there are molecular evidences, which is DNA and molecular biology have provided strong evidence for evolution by revealing shared genetic information, common ancestry among species. There are also macro and microevolution, and the microevolution refers to change within a single species or population, while macroevolution is the process of species formation and the diversification of life over a long period. So basically, first need to be start with a microevolution to become a macroevolution, and if that microevolution doesn't work, then the natural selection gonna take care of it. But if it works, then basically that's gonna continuously go on and on and on, and there's gonna be a macroevolution, and this process is actually a long period. uh, so basically human Sean is actually a shared common ancestor with other great apes like chimpanzees, bonobos, gorillas, or orangutans. And the hominid family tree includes various extinct species such as the Neanderthals and the Homo erectus and many, many more. They actually live together with the Homo species at the same time as well, but they are suddenly disappeared. Who knows why? Maybe we can find in the Bible the answer. Cain and Abel story when the brother killed another one. Probably this what happened as well in here. The Homo sapiens, as always, was scared that like maybe another species gonna be better or take away their food source or anything, and rather to find a good way to live with them together and cooperate, they just probably kill them. And yeah, and probably this is what happened, and that's why there is not anymore another Homo species, just us. To be honest, it would be nice if we would meet with our cousins like the Neanderthals, because they actually through fossil records it says that probably they got a bigger brain than us, and also they were the first who made art, not the Homo sapiens as many people thought before. So yeah, it's pretty sad that I can't talk with my cousins like let's say the dog could talk with the wolves or foxes, or the domesticated cat can talk with the cheetah, lions, tigers. They are all cousins, but we humans are pretty lonely species, unfortunately. But I'm gonna, as I said, a bit more about human evolution. And let's not forget the evolution is still ongoing. It's not just a historical process, it continues today as well. And this we humans as well need to realize that like our evolution didn't stop, we shouldn't get lazy, we shouldn't sit back in our couch and just say like, oh yeah, we are humans, like we made it, we're doing so great. We actually need to think that actually we still evolving, and we need to evolve in a good way, because don't forget that there was already 66 million years ago a big tensions and killings and horror in the earth with the dinosaurs, and let's not forget what were their punishments. So we could think about that, like probably if we continue the punishment will come, and therefore we need to realize that like rather to step back, we just let's start and continue evolve, because you see another species are still adapting and evolving, especially because of climate change. They already start to get confused, and that makes them extinct. In here in London as well, if I'm checking around, you can see so clearly the climate change there, and also the confuseness in the species and also the plants, because the plants literally people is 6th of November, and the trees, the area all around is still green. I mean, green. It's pretty serious thing, because with that we don't know what we started, we don't know what can happen. Hopefully not gonna happen nothing bad for the next year, but I have uh, one thing what I feel it can be possible, that the food price is gonna be really high for the next year, because the plants need cold. The plants needed to be harvested, the plants need to be rest, the soil need to be rest, and in the right time, when is the springs come again, then gonna start grow. But right now they not resting, and hopefully by I feel that suddenly gonna come a big cold and gonna be freeze of everything, and actually rather to give them rest, it gonna kill all everything, all the plants, and that's gonna give shortness of food. But hopefully not. I already told you right now that what you need to be take care of it. Hopefully you listen to me, and then probably you can prevent these things. And because right now as well it's really sunny day, it would have been amazing for a nice cycling or walking, but I can see many people using their cars, sitting alone, doing nothing, just sitting in the traffic jam, making themselves angry, like before even started their day. And yeah, it's not good. Just as I say, be conscious. Don't sit in the car every day. You have lovely nice days when you can walk. I'm super sure your job is not far further than 20 minutes walk. I'm super sure. Right now as I cycled 40 minutes, but I don't care because this is good for my body, good for my health, good for the nature, and that's it. So, and it feels good, and I'm not tense. I'm happy, I'm smiling, I'm positive. So just be conscious, as I said. Think of the that like what can be your consequences about your actions, because every action has a consequences. And right now, because you're releasing a lot of toxic gases, throwing junks on the floor and stuff like that is really bad effect on the environment, and we shouldn't do that, because we humans, we are not allowed to let's say, we are not allowed to decide of other people, other life, other species. We are not allowed to decide on their life, because we are as well just part of the nature. It's pretty sad that okay, yeah, you can do, yeah, I know, I got it. A lot of people say that, like, and also people say, yeah, like, you can't tell what another people can do. That's fine. I don't want to tell you if you want to do this or that. That's fine. Just I can't stand that people doing those things what actually affect on another species, on another human beings, on another plants, and all these things. That's not right, and you shouldn't do that. And that's it. This is my opinion, because you don't have the right, you are not allowed to, with your actions which is affecting others, to kill them, to change them, or anything. Do your things. If you want to harm yourself, I mean, don't do that, but what can I do? And if you want to do around your environment as you want, which is like actually affect only you but nothing else, that's fine. But apart from that, to sitting in the car, being in the traffic jam, to consuming meat all the time, to not take care of the environment, it's not right, and we need to change as soon as possible, literally right now. But yeah, let's continue with evolution. Uh, so basically, as I said, the evolution is widely accepted by the scientific community, but there are some controversy in some region due to religious or ideological reason. And it is important to understand the difference between scientific and layman usage of the term theory, because actually the scientific theory is proven with very, I mean, a lot of evidence, until the layman theory is basically the like what I said. I have a theory that probably the next year is gonna be high price on food, and maybe there's gonna be shortage with food. And yeah, uh, and it's really important to understand the evolution, because you can apply many practical way, such as on medicine, agriculture, and conservation biology. It helps in developing antibiotics, breeding crops, and conserving endangered species. So as we know, if we understand the evolution, how it's come from, how the body works, how their physiology works, how their feeding patterns, how their environment works, then basically you can apply in a pretty good way to save, to help that creatures, that environment, or anything else. Uh, Also, the evolution helped the extinction, to be honest, because as species are extincted, then become space for new animals to be extinct, I mean to develop and evolve. And through Earth history, there have been several mass extinction events, and with the most famous being in the one wipe out the dinosaurs about 66 million years ago, and therefore basically it it helped the mammals to thrive and become us as we humans right now. Because if right now dinosaurs would live, probably the human beings wouldn't evolve, or we would evolve in a different way. We would be maybe just a small little species, you never know. So actually, yeah, but right now the extinction events, the sixth extinction is pretty bad, because as I said, it's not just affecting some species, but all the species around the Earth and us as well, which is pretty sad, because in the Earth history, we are the first species who making our own extinction and another species extinction as well. So basically, right now, with our actions, we're killing our species right now, which is sad. And again, I say we need to stop right now in here and using our brain, that how we can live sustainable and what the nature wants us to live. Because if you check around, you can find everything in the nature what you need for your surviving, nothing else. What the brains give you, it just gives comfort, but nothing else. and and yeah, because with the nature, if you're using the nature, you can build even bigger things than right now what we are doing in artificial way. And so basically, to understand better the evolution and which species come from where, there is the tree of life. And it's a metaphorical way, that the tree of life, but actually that is represent the relationship between all living organisms, and it's a visual representation of the common ancestry of all the life on earth. And the field of evolutionary biology continues to advance with ongoing research into the genetic development and mechanisms behind evolution. So yeah, that was the evolution part and topic. Hopefully I give you good insight at what is actually about and why it's important in our life to know that where it's come from, and why it's good, the evolution, and why different animals can have similar traits, and why it's important, the genetics and DNA, mutation, natural selection, and all these things. And yeah, and hopefully made you think about that right now, that how we as humans should evolve and where we should go, because we have a really nice future if we want to do that. But if we give up, and right now we accept that like we are the top of the the I don't even know what that word, I can't tell nothing, like top of the world. Yeah, so like we can go further, that's unfortunately is not true. Humans have to evolve, must evolve, if we want to go further, if we want to go in a higher consciousness, if we want our earth, our universe being more healthier. Because to be honest as well, like guys, come on, what is that like around the earth that is as well like junks? Like if we're not living on earth, then we're putting out the universe. Like if you think that actions as well can change our magnetic field, it can change the earth rotation, it can change the gravitation in between the sun or in between the moon. Come on, there is a lot of things can happen. Like people, please start the evolution with the first thing what I gonna say. Think through everything before you're doing it. Think through if your action gonna be make positive uh, effects or negative effects. Use your critical thinking. That's why your cortex is there. The frontal cortex, that's why evolved in our brain in humans, to use your critical thinking before you're doing any instinct actions. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, and I'm back. And after the little evolution topic. Actually, it was an hour, but also I give here and there different topics as well, just to connect together and give you a bigger and wider knowledge and point of view that what is going on around us and what is the evolution and stuff like that. So basically, before the second topic, actually, I want to tell you that if you want to follow me on TikTok or Instagram, then you can. And actually, you can find me on TikTok if you write at Mindatory underscore official. And also, I got another TikTok channel which is called Just Shandor. And if you want to find me on Instagram, then you basically need to write at J, and then you write 2 times the underscore and Shandor, which is SANDOR. And also, let's not forget that you can follow the radios as well on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and all around you need to write at Love the Beat Radio. But don't forget the is not THE, is the A. But yeah, don't forget to follow me, and then basically you can interact with me, and then we can talk about pretty interesting things. If you have any questions, just go for it. I try to help you or answer you or find the solutions, anything. I'm here. That's why, to learn from you, and I wanna educate you as well. It's coming back and forth because this is how our evolution should go. That basically we give our knowledge to each other, we teach the good ways and not the bad ways. Okay, so basically let's stay still in, let's say, in the evolution topic, but let's go into a bit further. And I just want to talk about humans and apes. So I want to talk about that, actually, what are the similarities in between humans and apes, why there is the similarities, how we know if there is the similarities, also what they differ from, and what they could teach us. That because, as we know, apes, they are still using the natural way to live, they're using everything natural, and probably they got a pretty similar consciousness, as you're gonna see later on, that like what they can learn and what they can do. And basically they could teach us that like how we could still stay in 2 legs on the earth, and using our sustainable energies and ideas on the earth. So let's start with the common traits. So there are genetic similarities. Humans and apes share a significant amount of similarity. In fact, humans are more closely related to some ape species than to others. For instance, humans are most closely related to chimpanzees, sharing about 99.2% of their DNA. Also, there is another common trait which is called the bipedalism. Both humans and some apes, such as the bonobos and chimpanzees, are capable of limited bipedal walking. The bipedal means actually 2 legs, so basically right now as well we're walking in 2 legs. The bonobos and the chimpanzees as well can do that. But however, only humans are the full bipedal primates, which is the defining characteristic of our species. So until then, the bonobos and chimpanzees can do, like, through some time, we continuously bipedaling. There is another common trait which is like we as humans, I believe, really proud of, but also probably another primates as well, is the opposable thumbs, because humans and apes have opposable thumbs as well, and this allows for fine grabs and manipulation of objects. This trait is essential for tool use. So there was like, before, the humans thought that that we are the only species that like can use tools and can make use tools, and they were like so proud of it. And that's why they talk that they are top of on all of the animals, and that's why they talk that like they literally like can behave as gods. But more and more observation and more travels and more scientific improvements found out that like humans not the only species who can use tools. And mostly, yeah, all around the primates can use tools, but also there are some bird species as well who can use tools. Also elephants really good to use tools. uh, Dolphins as well using tools. So there are many animals who can use tools. So this is like it was a really bad idea to thinking that like only human can use tools, because if you think that the nature is already a tool playground. So everything what you see in the nature that you can make into tools to use something different things, not just what is was the primary uh, things to do that. Okay. And also there is a common trait which is social behavior. Humans and apes are highly social creatures. They live in groups and communities and engage in complex social interactions. They form bonds, exhibit cooperation, and display hierarchic structure within the groups. So as you can see, here's one thing which like we can learn from the other apes, because right now we're seeing humans like forming bonds and exhibit cooperation, uh, but I feel that like the apes doing better than us, and because we probably forming bonds actually just those people who is closest to us, which is I don't think so more than 4 or 5 people, and actually you cooperate with those 4 or 5 people through all your life properly. And another cooperation is more likely just that's why because you are looking for some advantage, or that's why because somebody pressing on you to do this cooperation. But apart from that, there is nothing mutual cooperation which is going on these days in between people, what I feel and what I see around. And this actually could teach us that like how we can go back to that ancestral traits what was in the beginning in between people as well, that like there was like real taking care of each other, and because of the surviving and because of to keep up our species to live and thrive. And therefore the apes as well shows that they got a complex social interaction, which means that they got friends, they also talk each other, they bond together, they play together. So and they enjoying their life. And okay, that is like because of the hierarchical structures there are some fights, but apart from the chimpanzees, there are no another apes as well who is like fighting until the death of the other beings. But chimpanzees as well is more likely they kill another chimpanzees if it's that from a different tribe. But if they're their own, that's gonna be just a big punishment. But in here as well, you can see that how similar chimpanzees and humans are, because they are going until the death. And and but I feel the differences between us and chimpanzees that like they they still, let's say, in a stone age where the humans were, but we are now in the 21st century in our timeline, which is we got like totally different consciousness, different, totally different knowledge, and therefore we should stop to kill each other and causing other people death, because it's not right. Rather, we should think about how we can help, how we can keep up our species to thrive and not to extinct, and also have to cooperate with each other to make an even better future, an even better knowledge of everything. So yeah, and also the last common trait is the parental care. Both humans and apes invest a significant amount of time and effort in raising their offsprings. This includes nursing, teaching, and protecting their young. So yeah, as we know as well, we humans as well putting a lot of pressure on to take care of our children, and also a lot of attentions on them. And yeah, so what are the separate traits? The first is the language and communication. So why apes have their ability to communicate using gestures, vocalizations, and sign language. Humans have developed complex symbolic language systems that allow for a vast range of abstract communications and information transfer. So yeah, so basically this definitely differ like literally from every species on earth, and from humans that like we use a complex language, and we have so many different language, but actually the meaning, if you realize, is all the same. And this as well can show that like how mind is so beautiful, that they found out this complex language and also could translate it into different languages, but also this everything is the same meaning if you translate it into your language. And it's pretty good. But let's not forget that like even if we're using language and we are communicating with language, that all the species can communicate, not just us. But they are not communicating with complex language, as you know, as I said, they more likely they're using their body language, vocalizations, and actually, if you think about, it's a pretty uh, like a good thing and big thing that actually chimpanzees, gorillas, and these apes can learn sign language. So basically, they can learn our language. They can actually spread their knowledge, what I mean, their vocabulary. So maybe in the why they use this and that, but if there is a human study teaching them to sign language, actually they can tell even further and further knowledge and communication with us. Uh, as there is a, even if there is a common trace with tool usage, there also is the separated trace, because we humans we use the tools like in a more modern way, if I can use this word, uh, because we're using technology, and humans are unique in their capacity to create and use wide variety of tools. Our tool making abilities have played a crucial role in our survival and success as a species. But right now, what I feel, that we our ego come true, and we feel that like in this 21st century, with this big knowledge and the unique capacity to create and use the tools, we we actually not using in the right way anymore, because we feel that this is it and we made it, and we are evolved, we are modern, we are technical, and that's why we started to use the tools in a wrong way, even if that tools started to use in a good way. And this we need to find and learn and realize that like what we're using right now, tools, is not the best way to use. Is one way to use, but there are other ways to use, and that those are probably a better way, because right now what we are doing is not really works. But instead to still doing it, we just need to just sit down, think of a different solutions, and do in a different way, because as I said, we got a unique capacity to create. So basically, we can create anything from the image, and money shouldn't stop us, definitely. So it's just like I don't understand why money is stopping our knowledge, and this we need to ask the government and those politicians who is like deciding our days every day. Okay, another separate trait is the cultural evolution. So humans have culture. It's basically a complex system of shared beliefs, knowledge, and practices that is passed down through generations. This allows for the accumulation of knowledge and adaptation to different environments in a way that is not observed in apes. Yes, but there are another thing that basically culture is can be give you false beliefs, especially right now these days, because these days there is so many. It's like so easy you can get the information that you think that's the truth, but probably most likely it's not the truth, especially if it's come from social media or like little newspapers. The truth, the real truth, the real knowledge, the real belief, and the real culture is actually still coming from books and still coming from reports which is scientifically proven, because these are the real knowledge. These telling us that like how the nature works, how the human works, how the universe works. But the most things which is coming like from mouth to mouth, and you hear that basically your brain can change it and fill up into your version, and that can change a lot of things, and therefore the knowledge gonna become false. So please, guys, be careful. Everything what you hear, you believe, or you're practicing, read about it. Read the real knowledge, not newspapers, not magazines, but books and scientifically proven reports. Read those things, and when you see that what you are doing right now is the good way what you are doing, then probably doing in a good way. So yeah, just be careful with that. Culture as well is made by humans, so therefore you can change your culture, you can change your belief, you can change your religion, you can change everything, because this is come from our mind. But the mind is actually created as an illusion, your illusion, what you are seeing every day in your life, in your daily life. So just realize that like actually what you are thinking, that probably another people, or maybe in a universal law, it doesn't give back the same knowledge or the same thoughts. There are another differences, the cognitive abilities. That's why apes exhibit high level of problem solving and cognitive abilities. Humans have more developed and they are diversified cognitive skills, including abstract thinking, planning, and reasoning. So basically, we just need to use it. We need to use it, and that's why I'm telling you that like our brain and our cognitive abilities is so higher and wider what we are using right now and doing with our brain right now, that we just need to use it. We just let's start use it, and let's start to use to develop skills and think critically and plan and reason that why we are doing that thing. I can't see right now in these days that we are reasoning our plans. We are just planning, sometimes thinking in a little bit, and then we are not reasoning, we're just doing it. Oh yeah, why not, let's do that, and then let's see what's gonna happen, which is not right. We need to reason it, and also need to be accepted with proof, and also through the humanity. And also the last difference is that humans have developed agriculture and built complex civilizations with advanced technology, architecture, and governance. Apes do not engage in these activities on the same scales. So yeah, we humans actually found out that like how can genetically modify the plants, and therefore they started to do agriculture, but this as well is going in a really bad way, which is started in a good way, because of this climate change. And actually we should just realize that like this is just a circle, a really bad circle, that we want more food, and therefore we genetically modifying everything, and with this actually you changing the climate, and when the climate is changed, then the food is disappear, and then we need to do this again until that like actually is not gonna left nothing, because this not it's not gonna be sustainable. We need to find the balance and the harmony back, and then we actually can realize that like our ancestor, why they come up with agriculture. All right, so after that I'm gonna go a little break. We're going to a little break, and then I'm gonna continue that actually what primates can teach us. But before that, let's listen another two music. And the first I'm gonna bring for you is from Tupac, feat. Talent, The Changes. And then second music is gonna be from Pitbull and Neo, Time of Our Life. Until then, just enjoy your music, take care of yourself, have a nice morning, enjoy your Monday morning. Hey, and I'm back. Hopefully you enjoy the musics, and let's continue what the about the primates and humans, and let's talk about a little bit what primates can teach us. Uh, and basically, studying primates, especially our closest relatives like chimpanzees and bonobos, provides actually a valuable insight into our own evolution and behaviors. And the first is the social behavior. Basically, there is the cooperation, conflict resolution, and social hierarchies. And let's start with the cooperation. So basically, as we observing the primates, they can help us to understand the origins of human cooperation. Many primate species live in social groups, and the individuals work together for activities like foraging, defense, and raising offspring. And these mechanisms behind cooperation in primates can shed light on the evolutionary roots of human cooperation, and this includes the development of social norms and reciprocity. The another social behavior which can teach us that like how we can resolve conflicts. Primates also engage conflicts within their group, and it's good to study the primates, how they handle their conflict and maintain group cohesions, and this can actually give insight the evolution of human conflict resolution strategy, such as negotiation, recognition, and the role of alliance in mediating this space. Right now, I feel that the apes doing better to solve their conflicts than us. We going back probably again to where we were, that like making conflicts then, and we creating tensions and killing each other, and there are no negotiations. And yeah, it should, if we definitely could learn that like how actually we could coexist as like one species together, because if you go to Africa, there are parts which actually chimpanzees and orangutans live together in one environment, but they are not disturbing each other. They have their own part, they have their own environment, and they're not disturbing, they're not fighting with each other, they're not making wars between each other, because they know that like they are pretty similar species, they're actually cousins, so they live and cooperate with each other. And also they can teach us a little bit that like where is the social hierarchies come from, because also primate groups have social hierarchies and where have different positions of dominance. And if the understanding the apes formations and maintenance of these hierarchies can offer insight into the origins of power dynamics, leadership, and social status in human societies. So basically, leaderships in the apes is those are leaders who actually at the front and who knows the best that like how that species can survive, where is the best food, where you can find water, definitely have enough strength to take care of any harm, to not to harm the offsprings, and defends their territory. And basically, this really cool teaches that right now, if you check around, our leaders are not those type of leaders which you can find in the apes. They are definitely not the strongest, not the smartest. Also, they don't know that like what is the best way to survive as a species. Also, they don't know how what's the best way to take care of our nature and our environment. And they not leading us nowhere. They actually keeping us in fear, and also they manipulating us to do those things what they good for them and not good for us, but they made you believe that this is good, what you need to do because it's good for you. Actually, it's not. So definitely it's just like something went wrong through the human history, that we lost our real leaders and right now we got puppets. And yeah, so definitely the ape school teaches that like where we come from and what was the real leadership and hierarchy in between our species, and we totally lost it. The other things what they can teach us that like where come from the attachment and bonding, learning and education, and maternal investment in our species, because primates like humans form strong attachment between parents and their offsprings. Also, they have friends and they taking care of each other, and it can provide insight into the development of attachment and bonding mechanisms in humans, which is crucial for emotional and physiological well-being. So here as well you can see, because it's really important for us, such as every apes, this attachment. Right now, our government creating tension between us and want to separate us with wars and false knowledge and manipulation, because they know that our emotional, physiologically well-being gonna be bad, and therefore they're gonna push on us that like if you buy these things or if you do these things provided from them, then you're definitely gonna feel better, which is actually not true, but they're gonna make you think. Uh, Primates also engage in teaching behaviors where the older individual, especially mothers, guide and educate their youngs. Uh, Also, the caregiving, and this highlight the importance of intergenerational knowledge transfer in both species, that basically we can learn that actually how this teaching system evolved and appeared in the humans as well. And also primates vary in the level of maternal investment, with some species showing extended period of nursing and care. These differences can inform our understanding of the evolution of human parenting strategy and maternal investment. Communications, basically, they can teach us that actually our gestures and vocalizations and the tool associated communications come from, because also as humans, primates as well use many uh, tools and also gesturing and her complex system of gesture, facial expressions, and vocalizations to communicate with each other. And this can help us to trace the evolution of non-verbal and vocal communication in humans. So basically this can tell us that like when we change our body language to language. And some studies have shown that great apes such as chimpanzees can learn to use sign language or symbols to communicate with humans. And these experiments offer insight into a potential cognitive and communicative capacity of our closest relative. They also can show us that like where our problem solving skills and memory and leading skills and the innovation and tool use coming from. The study of primates cognition has shown that they are capable problem solvers. Investigating their problem solving abilities provides a window into the development of human intelligence and the cognitive process underlying complex tasks. The memory and learning can help us understand the evolution of memory processing humans, such as working memory, long-term memory, and the role of memory in skill. Because if you think about that, like back in time, wasn't this modern society, so definitely we made to work our brain in a better way, and we actually can learn that actually where it's coming from this, because if you think about that, our ancestor, their map was in their head, not in their paper, and they still could find the source, the food source and the water source. So it's pretty impressive. And if we find back the like where this traits come from, then we can understand like how we can use our brain in a better way. And basically the primates as well as humans can innovate and use tools to solve their problems. And actually this can give an insight the early stage of technology development in our lineage. It's really important that basically these apes teaching us a little bit the conservation, because basically it's really important the biodiversity and ecosystem health. And the primates actually often serve as umbrella species, meaning that conserving their habitats help protect many other species within those ecosystems. And by studying primates, we recognize the broader importance of preserving biodiversity and maintaining the health of entire ecosystem. So we should go after our cousins, and we need to take example, because we are primates as well. Humans are primates, humans mammals and primates. We are part of the nature, and as another primates taking care of their habitats and helping their environment and biodiversity, we as well need to get into that way. If it's not coming by instinct, then watch and learn from chimpanzees, gorillas, bonobos, orangutans, how they are doing, and then we can put it into our modern society, because we need to take care of our environment. We are one of the guardian of the earth, and we need to play our role. We shouldn't be play a parasite. We need to play as a cooperative species, which is help the biodiversity, helps the species, helps everyone to thrive and live long life on the earth. Also, unfortunately, primates face with threats such as habitat loss and poaching. I don't know why it makes sense to poach different animals, I mean like our cousins, but it's important to stop it. And humans as all around impacting their life, like all of the animals, and it's urgent need to address the challenges including deforestation, hunting, and climate change. Hopefully you really enjoyed the second topic and give you insight that like what is like really common in between apes and humans. Thank you very much. You listened to me on these 2 hours. You can have now a wider knowledge about the evolution, where it's come from, why it's important, and what are the arguments, and what is still need to be discovered. And also you could see a little insight that like how humans and apes differ, and but also how pretty common things we have and what we can learn from them. And thank you very much you listen to me. If you want to interact with me outside the radio, you can find me on TikTok at Mindatory_official or at Just Shandor, or also you can find me on Instagram, where you can find at J2_. 2 times you need to write _Shandor, which is SANDOR. And also don't forget to follow the radio, which you can find Facebook, Instagram, and on X, which is Twitter. And you need to write all around just at Love the Beat Radio, but don't forget to write the T instead THE, just DA. And but apart from that, thank you very much. You were here with me. Enjoy your lovely Monday, and it's pretty sunny, so go out and take some fresh air, walk, dump your car and just walk, or do some cycling, a little exercise from outside. Definitely gonna make better your mood. And yeah, take care, and don't forget to being in the present as always make you feel pleasant. So don't stress, just go with the vibes. Until then, see you next. Next Monday I'm gonna come back with different topics. Until then, take care, guys, and enjoy your week ahead.